Old School Musical is a retro-styled rhythm game that was released on September 13th for PC and the Nintendo Switch. It's unlike any other rhythm game I've played, and it's a lot of fun. The game isn't perfect, though. There are very few options in the game. You can't even adjust the volume, and while I can understand why it's expected that you need volume in a rhythm game, the sound is very loud, and there are a lot of circumstances where someone might want to adjust that in-game. There's also a webcam option which isn't explained, but even though I have it disabled, now and then my computer notifies me that my webcam has been turned on while I'm playing the game. I really have no idea what it's doing, and it absolutely should not touch my webcam without my permission. I'm also disappointed in some of the story. All of the important characters are male, with the notable exception of your mother, who is cruel, abusive, and essentially an enemy. There are a few female characters in the background of one scene, but they don't play any role in the story and are essentially background decorations. I found it very disappointing as a lifelong female gamer to see this kind of decision being made in a game made in 2018. Almost any one of the characters could have been female without having to make any other changes. The game was made by a group of guys, and it shows. However, since the gender of the characters really has nothing to do with the gameplay, it's not a deal breaker for me. And the gameplay itself is very fun and unique. The game can be controlled with the keyboard or gamepad. I elected to go with the gamepad. One thing which is not made clear but is very important to know is that in addition to the A, B, X, Y keys, you can also use the D-pad to hit the notes. This is essential for hitting fast sequences of notes. Without alternating, it's basically impossible to hit them fast enough. Interestingly, unlike other rhythm games I've played, in this one the notes come in from all four sides of the screen. There are also sequences where the player must use shoulder buttons, although these are done separately from the others. You never have to use both the directions and the shoulder buttons at the same time. Players using the keyboard use the left and right arrow keys for these shoulder button parts. You start off in story mode. The story? Two brothers grew up on an island alone with their terrible mother, who trained them in the ways of combat and told them they were the chosen ones who would save the world someday. The tutorial shows their childhood, growing up and in training, and then the story really begins. Mother disappears and your home is infested with glitchy artifacts. Mother leaves a note asking you to meet her at the communications tower, and you go on an adventure through the history of video games to try to find her and save the universe. The story goes on in the background while the rhythm game notes scroll on an overlay on the screen. An audience can watch the background as well as the rhythm gameplay, so there's plenty of interesting things to watch. The player, however, probably won't be looking at the background too much because they have notes to hit. As you play, an HP bar in the top left shows your health. If you miss notes, you lose hit points, and if you get down to 0, you fail the level. Each story level has its own way of showing what kills you, like these weird potato monsters, which is pretty cool. I'm not about to spoil a story for you, but once it's over, you might find yourself feeling like the game is a bit short. Sure, the story mode levels unlock songs that you can play in the arcade mode, and there are achievements to unlock by getting a good score on each level in hard mode, but what if you want more? Well, after the credits roll, you are treated to a whole new game mode, Chicken Republic. Be warned, the following section contains flickering and flashing that some people might be sensitive to. In this mode, there aren't story scenes happening in the background, but there are tons of new songs to play through, and each one has new challenges. Using crazy visual effects, the notes are twisted, discolored, glitched, and otherwise deformed to make it harder to follow the song and play without mistakes. It's incredibly difficult and seemingly never-ending. After 4 hours of playing this game, I'm still not finished. The game really has no shortage of content. So is it worth the price? I'm certainly getting hours of fun out of it, and even though I'm rather sensitive to flickering and flashing, I'm motivated to finish the difficult levels, and then maybe go for the hard mode achievements. And by the way, the difficult mode is a lot harder than the normal mode. Of course, I'm a rhythm game lover, and always happy to find a new one to play. I enjoy the music, I enjoy the gameplay, and to me it's worth its price tag. On the other hand, if you aren't a big fan of rhythm games, or don't like the retro aesthetic, or don't enjoy chiptune music, or are sensitive to flashing and flickering visual effects, it is probably not the game for you. Now excuse me while I go fight some more chickens.